Nothing in this recording is intended as investment advice, and the people in this recording may hold positions in the companies they talk about. Do not make any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Giles Willits, who's CEO Intuitive Investments. How today, Giles?
Hi there, Zach. Good to see you.
Right, we were talking offline about your Entertainment One experience. So you've been around the block, you've done it, you've got the T-shirt, but this is a different T-shirt. The clue is not in the name as far as Intuitive Investments are concerned. So maybe you can tell us what your company does.
Yeah, so Intuitive Investments is a listed investment fund on the London Stock Exchange. Its focus is on the business that it's got 100% holding in, which is a business called Huayten. And Huayten is a Chinese business. It's a Chinese company. It's Chinese management, and its focus is on the digitization of the Chinese lottery. And that needs a little bit of context to help understand what that means. If you want to play the lottery in China currently, you really only have one way to do that. And that is to go to one of 200,000 lottery-only stores and buy a paper ticket. And if you then look at the level of participation in the lottery that drives, it's about 10% of the Chinese addressable market, which is about 1.1 billion adults. So if you then compare that with what is the participation level that you see in most modern economies that operate lotteries, then that level is closer to 30 to 40%. So the Chinese lottery is suboptimal in terms of its participation levels. And that really goes back to the way that you can play at the moment in China, which is that paper-only lottery store purchase. If I was to look at the UK, for instance, where there are roughly 60 million adults that can participate in the lottery in the UK, there are roughly 300,000 points of sale where you can buy a lottery ticket and you can play on your phone. If I can go back to China, there's only 200,000 locations for 1.1 billion people. So you've effectively got this shortfall in terms of places to play. You've also got a method of playing the lottery, which is quite outdated. You only can play by buying a paper ticket. There is no online playing of the lottery. You can't use your phone, etc. So it's an out of date method of play, but it's also underrepresented in terms of the availability of it within China. So put those two things together, that explains why there's 10% levels of participation in terms of playing of the lottery in China. So let's go to what does Huayten do? Huayten is providing the platform that links the lottery issuers, the welfare lottery and the sports lottery, through the payment processes that are required in China through to the consumer in a way that allows and unlocks the Chinese consumer's ability to play the platform, not only digitally, but also in more locations around China. So to do that, we are having to do two things primarily. We're having to expand the number of locations you can play, and we're looking to take that number to over 2 million locations across China. And in addition to that, we're also taking those 200,000 lottery-only stores and bringing them into the 21st century. By doing that, we are looking to dramatically increase the participation. We think we can get to 30% and actually beyond that. As a reminder, the lottery is the only legal form of gambling in China, as compared to, say, the UK or the US, where obviously there are very many different alternatives to the lottery for gambling. So in China, we think we can get 30%, if not higher, participation. That brings 300 million people onto the Hui10 platform. We get a percentage, a small percentage of each of those ticket sales, and that will drive a gross margin for Hui10 of about 1.75%. So as we roll out, as we increase participation and take it to the levels that we expect to take it to, we expect to be generating through Hui10 a business that is driving EBITDA levels above £1 billion. So it's a very exciting opportunity. The business is rolling out as we speak, and is operational, and we are continuing the process of that rollout over the next 18 months. It takes quite some time to get to the 31 provinces and those 1.1 billion people in terms of the whole market, but it does take 18 months. We're currently operating in 3 provinces. We expect to be in another 4 provinces in the next few months, and it's all systems go in China as we roll out the system, the platform.
Right. One or two things. I have an advantage maybe over anyone else who was interrogating you today, in the sense that I did see other people interrogating you at a Q&A that we were both at about a month ago, and so all the really difficult questions were asked by them. I think, to summarize the situation that you're in, you've literally got a lottery ticket of your own. You're in China, etc. It's a business already running. You've got a foothold. You've got Chinese management there. So that cuts out untoward risk that you might have, jurisdictional risk, etc. Plus, they know the lay of the land. So that's all good. So the only thing which maybe is left to know is all of the future from now on is about the rollout, expanding a footprint, getting from 10% to 30% market saturation. How much will it cost? Can you afford it? Can you fund it? How much is funded out of existing revenues? That's probably the nastiest question I can ask.
Well, it's not a nasty question. It's just one of that needs a full answer. So we are expanding, as I say, and to do that, we are spending money. Each of the terminals that we are putting into stores is about £10 a terminal. So when you're going to over 2 million locations, then it does take a little bit of cash, because we are funding that. In terms of how we're funding that, we are doing 2 things. One, we are raising money. We've been raising money as IIG, which we're funding the Hui10 expansion with. We continue to do that. And on top of that, as we roll out, then clearly we're generating revenues and profits from the terminals that are now installed and operating. So those 2 cash flows are supporting the expansion of our platform and our footprint in China.
And I suppose Intuitive Investments, I was aware of its previous incarnation, didn't actually know what it was doing now, and I'm supposed to be looking at every RNS every day. Given the opportunity, there is probably a disproportionate lack of awareness amongst UK investors. The market cap is in 250 million, and that tends to be a bit of a sort of a, I'm not saying a no man's land, but in terms of you're too big to be small and too small to be big. Maybe a name change, more retail interest. Is that something you're thinking about?
Exactly that, and more, to be honest, Zach. What we are very much aware of is that there are 2 things, I suppose, that are in our mind are holding the valuation at where it is. We think it should be a lot more, obviously, based on the potential opportunity that there is through Hui10. But I think that will happen as we do the following things. One, we are increasing awareness. Hui10 is a story that started in IIG less than 18 months ago, and so we are starting the story of raising awareness of IIG and Hui10 in the UK and abroad, to make investors, and all investors, institutions, retail, etc., make them aware of that story, of that opportunity that we have through Hui10 in China. And we believe that process of awareness and engagement will drive more activity in relation to the daily stock purchases of IIG shares. But that's stage one. And stage two then is really thinking about what can we do with IIG and Hui 10 going forward. At some point, and we've talked about how we're going to look at changing IIG's status as an investment fund, and as and when Hui 10 is of a size and scale and it's appropriate, make Hui 10 the main trading company of the business. Change the trading status of IIG so that IIG moves from being an investment fund to being Hui 10, the trading company. And at that stage, we believe that will shine a really strong light on the performance of Hui 10 and ensure that people can see the true value of the opportunity that we have there. And by doing that, deliver to shareholders the expected upside that we are all focused on delivering.
And just finally, what the news flow? What's the sort of news flow we can expect? Is it just we've opened up another this here, another that there? Is it that kind of rollout news, or are there other things as well?
We will be focusing on the operational KPIs of the business and the business of Hui 10, which will be how many terminals have been deployed into the dedicated lottery stores. We're currently at 2,600. We expect that to increase to about 15,000 by December 2025, and then increase it again going forward. We'll be focused on how many registered users that platform, once it's deployed, is attracting. We're currently at 400,000. We expect to be significantly higher as we roll out. We will then be looking at how many terminals are operational outside of that dedicated lottery store network. We started just last week selling scratch cards, lottery scratch cards in the back of taxis. Never done before. First time that there's been a legal sale of anything lottery related outside of the 200,000 dedicated stores. So a real significant milestone. And we expect to roll out to roughly 100,000 taxis within the next 6 months. So it's a rapid rollout and is expected to be quite a significant opportunity for both us and, of course, for the taxi drivers, and increasing lottery scratch card sales, which is good for everybody in that system. So lots of operational KPIs and lots of development of those over the next 6-12 months. And I think that will reinforce the scale of the business that we are developing in China. And of course, alongside that come lottery sales, come scratch card sales, which are more financially focused, and will of course be reporting those as well.
Giles Willits, CEO at Intuitive Investments. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.